What is happening, folks? Welcome to Hunting with Tripler. Excuse me for just a moment. So much better. This hat comes courtesy from Cincinnati Picker, and I think it's awesome. It was a lazy Thursday. Content has been really hard to come by lately, and honestly, I've been too busy to do the things that I absolutely love, and that's just unacceptable. Stick around.
I collect so many things. Would you like to share this journey with me? I will show you the prizes I got today. So come along with me, come on and join the chase. Yeah!
When I turn it around, it kind of looks like I have a bandana on. Folks, in today's episode, I wanted to explain first off where I've been, what has been going on, and why do I not have content coming out twice a week like I said I was gonna do. My day job, which requires me to be on a computer and be on phone calls and to endlessly be talking to people all of the time, has put me in a position where, quite frankly, I haven't had time to even, well, get on YouTube, watch my favorite episodes, or even do anything on Instagram, do anything on social media at all. And unfortunately, my favorite hobby in the world had to take a back seat. Number two, there just wasn't any content out there. I was struggling to find things simply because, number one, I was too busy, hadn't gone to garage sales in forever, hadn't gone to any flea markets, going to thrift stores has been dry as a bone, and cobbling together an episode was, well, it was difficult. And as I stand here right now looking forward to showing you guys today's footage, I also have to say out loud, this is not my best finds. Number three, I just don't need any more inventory. And the way my channel has been set up, it's really about the finds. And when you're going out there forcing yourself to buy something that, quite frankly, you don't need, the content also suffers dramatically. The last episode that I put out is actually one of my lowest watch videos I've produced in over 2 years. And I have to say out loud, those pickups weren't that bad. They just weren't exciting. They weren't sexy. I have to separate the do I need this for YouTube or do I need this for my side hustle? Neither. I don't want to put out content that you guys aren't liking, and I don't want to have items that I'm going to resell that either one, I don't like reselling, or two, is just going to take a long time to sell. That's why you haven't seen me very much, but the good news, I have 4 episodes after this one already ready to go. That means there's gonna at least be a couple weeks worth of really good content. I'm excited about a few of them, and I think most of you will appreciate what you're gonna see. So recently I've been going through the process of looking at old content and kind of taking a look at some of the finds that I was getting 2 years ago versus what I'm getting now. And obviously things have changed quite a bit, but there's no question that things that I would normally find at thrift stores or things that I would like to pick up at thrift stores, which, not to say they were like a dime a dozen, but I'm just not seeing that stuff. So honestly, one thing that's become more and more clear to me, that as a part-time reseller who likes to document things on YouTube, I'm finding it incredibly difficult to find content to actually put up. I mean, some of it's piecemeal. Like, for example, I might have one stop at a thrift store at the very end of the day that could take me a total of 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes in the store, and relevant content for at least the channel is, you know, not even a minute's worth of that. So it's becoming increasingly more difficult to have content knowing what my availability is. So I hope that as things transition from summer into fall, and you know, the bounty of stuff that's out here in Southern California will start making its way onto the shelves and I can start getting more of it. But I'll tell you, scraping together a video this week was kind of hard. It just was.
Guys, I mean, when things are dry as a bone, these have been the same items I've seen for weeks. It just hasn't been a decent restock, and if there have been good items that resellers have found, I'd never know. These toy packs here that were sort of a mystery, I looked them up, not much value there.
Pass.
And from time to time I might find a hidden gem in the CDs. I don't spend too much time I look for PS1 games. I've found DS games in here before, but today, nothing. So far, I've spent about 35 minutes in 2 locations driving there to and from the warehouse, and at some point you have to figure out, is it worth your time to continue doing that? Because at some point, diminishing returns, and you know, of course, if you find that one big item, it makes it all worth it, but it's all guesswork, right? You never know exactly what you're gonna find. So I got one more stop on the way back to the warehouse, and if it nets nothing, I'm not gonna continue to go drive around all day looking for just one thing. Number one, I don't have the time, and number two, it's just not worth driving around in the hopes you maybe will get something. All right, this thrift store has served me well in the past, but it's been months since I've had a hit. The Sony receiver I did get for a good price, just about $40, and decided since I was there and I had a hit, let's walk around. But this place has turned into really interesting antique store. Has a lot of CDs. I've spent an hour and a half looking through every CD to see if there was a PS1 game in there before, but again, no hits. And here I am just going as quickly as I can through the store and getting out of there. There at least was a score there. That's nice. Out the door with tax, 44 bucks. And if you consider all the time that I've put in today thrifting, which is less than an hour total, but to list this one item, get it packed up and shipped, I would say in total I'm gonna spend about an hour and maybe 10 something minutes. So let's just round it down to an hour. We'll find some efficiencies in there, and that means for 1 hour after fees, if I sell it for about $140, $135, shipping will be covered. I'd say I'm gonna get, I think it's reasonable to expect 80 bucks in 1 hour's worth of time. That's probably what it's gonna net out to be. And I am perfectly fine with 80 bucks. How about you? Would you be good making $80 an hour doing this as a side hustle? And here is the pinkest thrift store in Long Beach. I again have had hits at this place, but this has been a reoccurring theme. I'm going through this place. If there's something that might have good value, it's just priced too high. Or there's just instances of nothing there. Here's another example of something that might look really good, but it was either priced too high or just didn't really hold much value. I went through the video games. Guys, it has been bare. So after the receiver pickup, I was feeling pretty good, and I went on OfferUp and I saw a local deal for a PlayStation 4 VR system with a bunch of games, and then I saw 2 Intellivisions by the same seller and 21 games included. It was a pretty decent bundle. He wanted $310 for everything. I got him down to $260, and it'll probably end up being, after shipping and fees and all of that, I'm probably gonna net about $450 to $420 on the deal, somewhere in that range. In this case, it's not too much stuff, and I think the return on this one is gonna be good enough that, you know, investing $260, pull out $200, that's definitely in the sweet spot for me, and I'm good with those numbers. So is this all your old stuff, or?
Yeah, well, this is all old. I don't even know, honest to God, I don't even know where this came from. I just found it in the garage, and I found it a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And then today I took it out, and there's 2 Intellivisions inside.
Sweet.
You
needed a backup, of course.
I have no idea if they work or not. I never owned a Intellivision. I literally have no idea where this thing came from.
Do you have more video game stuff?
Yeah, I do.
What else do you have?
I'll be going through it. I got everything. I've been in the business for a long time.
Oh, okay.
So I've
all
collected just about everything.
All right.
Just decided if I'm going to do VR, I'll go Oculus, so I just tried to dumping it back in.
Yeah, Oculus is great. I actually had one for half a minute.
This is brand new. I bought this myself separately. Okay. I've never even tried the rest of it. Just the way I got them, and
okay.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, they don't, just seeing them in box was kind of cool too. Yeah. I mean, but if you're, look, I mean, I do a lot of reselling basically, but if you've got stuff that you want to just like,
yeah,
if you want to unload and you don't want to list it, you can just shoot me a text if you're interested.
Sure.
All right, well, that little mini score there turned out to be pretty solid. The guy named Greg was super cool, and he has a whole garage full of additional video games. What are the chances I'm gonna hear from Greg again? I'm going to see if we can score a few items at Salvation Army.
So feeling good enough that I'll go through Salvation Army, and here I find these Lindros vintage knee pads. I think they're outdoor skating knee pads and gloves. And it was interesting. I was considering getting these. I think they wanted $10 to $13 a piece. I even put them in the cart, but I really had to pass just because there just wasn't enough sold comps on them. Found some KDs, a few other pairs of shoes. These were pretty interesting. I looked those up as well, but then again, the margin on them without the soles is just not worth it. If you don't have the soles and you have to pay for them, why buy them in the first place?
All right, and more than likely our last stop of the day is gonna be at a place called Retro Games Plus, video games and collectibles. And you don't see me going very often into video game stores, but when I'm in this area, I have no problem checking it out.
I do wish I would have spent a little bit more time in the store. There were some vintage Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, whole bunch of cartridge-based stuff. I did find some vintage toys in these little plastic cases there. Looked through a few of them. Everything was pretty much overpriced. They had some notable comics there, even a sign that says, "We buy key comics." Well, of course you do.
Alright guys, so it's been a couple of days since the pickups, and we're going to focus solely on reviewing the video game, the retro stuff, the Intellivision, and we're going to look at the PS4 lot. The Sony receiver ended up being really fantastic. It's going to be worth around $140 in total, so that was an easy score for me. I haven't listed it yet, but it'll probably get listed sometime this week. It's one of those items that should sell pretty quick. But the rest of this stuff, I want to show you guys how I'm going to bundle all of this, because there isn't any Intellivision games here that are like mind-blowing. There's a few that I'm going to just sell separately, but then I'm going to take the majority of them and sell them as a lot. And since I got two Intellivision consoles, that means I'm going to have two listings, two different variations of games, and I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, so both of the consoles actually looked pretty good. Most of you, when you look at this stuff, you might just say, that is total trash. And I'm not going to say I totally disagree with you. These aren't like the hottest sellers, but it happens all the time that there are people looking for Intellivisions that are in decent working condition. And of course, I'm going to test it and just make sure everything is operational. But the only thing that I'm missing on one of them, I believe, is the AV cable. So I do need to purchase or just note in the auction that it doesn't have an AV cable. So each one just needs a decent cleanup, and I would say these are looking, generally speaking, pretty good overall. And then I've got this lot of very generic sports games. It's football, auto racing, some like I've got roulette in there, NBA, tennis, golf, a whole bunch of games that, like I said, probably aren't worth selling individually, but each of these consoles will get one lot of these games, and I think that's gonna put the price tag for each of those probably somewhere around, I would say, $115 to $125 plus shipping, which means after shipping and fees, I should be making about this much money on the lot here, which I think is absolutely fine considering I have these games right here that I'm gonna sell individually. It starts with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I think this is probably gonna be about a $10 to $15 cart here. Space Battle, Night Stalker, Astro Smash, and another Astro Smash, Armor Battle, Space Armada. I think of all of those games, somewhere around 10, 15 bucks a piece. There are 7 games right there, which means that I would add this much to the total here. So I think for everything here, the Intellivision turned out to be a really, really solid deal. And the PS4 lot really ended up being a lot nicer than I expected as well. It came with PlayStation VR Worlds, Robinsons, which this is probably the best game out of all of them. Then we've got Eve, Valkyrie, Farpoint New Sealed, which I think might be 15 to 20 bucks. Drive Club VR, so again, sealed and guessing maybe 15, 20 bucks. PlayStation VR demo disc, I think this might come with the actual system. And then a sealed Batman Arkham VR, which I think again, maybe 15, 20 bucks. So I've sold this guy before. I'll take just enough to lot with the console itself, but I'd say the rest of it, I should be able to get close to 100 bucks for everything here. And this was an awesome surprise. This is a PS4 VR camera. It's brand new, and I think this goes for about $85 to $90. And then the VR and then the actual system itself I have right here. So I think the system itself plus the demo disc and the controllers, I should get around $200 for everything. So let's add that down to the total here, and you're gonna start to see between the Intellivision and the PS4 VR bundle I'm gonna do extremely well on this one, and it was as simple as just taking a few minutes to look on OfferUp, message the guy, met up with him right away, and the return on investment on this one is just solid. Plus, the guy said he's got way more stuff for me, and if he actually does call me back, then that means the deal not only was profitable, but it will probably net me a whole bunch of goodies later on. And that was today's episode, folks. The Intellivision bundles and the PR bundle, those ended up being tremendous scores, a lot more than what I was expecting it to be, and I bought it at the right time, right in front of Christmas coming up. But it's been a while since I've taken you guys through our profit and loss, and since it's been a couple of weeks, I'm gonna combine 2 weeks into one, so let's review our profit and loss. The last time you guys saw me, I was sitting at $15,166 in profit, and honestly, it was a little bit disappointing considering now we only have October, November, and December to go to get to my $60,000 goal, which means I need to make $15,000 in profit every single month in order to hit that $60,000 goal. The costs for the last 2 weeks ended up being really substantial, and I'll tell you why. The first being payroll hit. The second is I paid my monthly credit card, which I put all of my Mercari purchases on, and it ended up being really substantial. And though some of those returns are coming back, they just haven't hit like I was expecting them to. My cost for the week, $7,228. It was way more than I ever expected it to be. I got an Amazon payment in the last 2 weeks of $194. I got a YouTube payment, which was awesome. I only get one of those, once every couple of months? But I got $132 from Google AdSense, and you know what? I was surprised and I was happy. My eBay total here for the last 2 weeks, after fees, is $5,021. That is far short of what we need it to be. We need that to be twice what it is in order to hit our goal. And $5,021 it's disappointing. So that brings our 2-week total to negative $1,878. And that brings our grand total to $13,287. That felt like a gut punch that I didn't deserve, but somehow got anyway. We'll make it up. We'll figure out a way to do it. I'm not worried yet, but I'm starting to feel the pinch. Anyway, folks, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Sorry I've been gone so long. Hopefully the routine is gonna kick back in. Work has been very heavy, but I know where my priorities lie, and unfortunately, if I don't have a video out there, it's not because I don't love all of you, because I absolutely do. So folks, I hope your weekend finds are going to be amazing. I hope your sales are, please, I really hope your sales are just as good. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Stay safe out there, and I will see you next time. Take care.